Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And now I bring you the tennis game Passing Shot, which according to what I can make out was released by Imageworks in 1989. So you've got some pretty nice sound effects, and some pretty nice music here, which is making great use of the 128K Spectrum's sound capabilities. But one thing that is kind of irritating is that there doesn't seem to be a keyboard option in this. Well, it's obviously not going to be Kempston because that's so I'm being allowed to use keys here. I would have preferred it if you could type at least if you could type the name here, but I'll pick level 2. Oh, poo, I didn't catch that right. So it's spectator's viewpoint for service and overhead viewpoint for rallies. And the kind of shot you do depends on whether you're holding up, down, left, or right, or when you press the fire button. If you're using keys like I am, it's just a standard QAOP space. Not sure about this music, I have to admit it. Oh, I would have preferred it if there could have been some kind of shadow so you could actually tell how high the ball was. But by and large, the presentation's quite nice. Oh. Ooh, deuce. But in case you're wondering, I'm in the foreground there. Now I'm in the bottom half of the screen. Oh, cool. Advantage me. I do like that face. Oh dear. See what I mean? Because there's no shadow, it's really sometimes hard to tell how high up the ball is. Ugh. Ugh. Another complaint I have is that the tennis players move so slowly. And you sometimes have to move a player while he or she is off screen. What? I hit that? You grin at me, you stupid, crazy tennis ball. So I've just turned off that music and switched to sound effects. They're a bit sparse. Ugh. I really wish they could have put a shadow on the ball. It's really hard to tell how high up it is. That face. It does make me laugh. Well, I'm sure I caught that at the right height. Oh god, why does this character have to move so slowly? Oh. I'm getting absolutely massacred this time. Oh, God. It's really hard to tell how high up the ball is at times. Oh, poo. Yeah, animation's quite nice. Yes. Ugh, goodness me. Out. Ugh. Again, I couldn't get to that because she moves so slowly. Why does she have to move so slowly? I mean, some returns that should be possible to do are completely impossible because of that. And if you're wondering if you can play doubles in this with a second player, the answer is yes. Although one thing you can't do, which is kind of disappointing, is you can't have one player versus another player. You can only have the simultaneous two player playing as doubles against the CPU. Oh goodness! Again, I couldn't catch that because I couldn't really. You've got to be pretty precise with your timing. There was no way I could get that because my character's so slow in moving. Yes. Ugh. I mean, some people complain that sometimes you have to move your player while he or she is off screen, which is the case. See, I can. Oh. Ugh. She moves too slowly. Yes. Yeah. I actually don't mind the presentation. I'm not even particularly bothered by the fact that it uses an overhead viewpoint for the rallies. It would just have been a bit easier to determine how high the ball was if there was some kind of shadow. Oh, goodness me. Oh, blast it. As I was saying, it doesn't seem to bother me that sometimes I move my player while they're off screen because more often than not, the woman I'm currently controlling seems to be exactly where I expected her to be more often than not. Oh no, out! Damn it, that wasn't good. The way you control what kind of strike you do works really well. I'm wondering whether passing shot could be one of the earliest, if not the earliest, examples of a tennis game in which you had this kind of comparatively advanced control, rather than just a case of hoping you just hit it and it just did whatever. You've actually got some degree of control over what kind of strike you got. If you're pressing forward when you press fire, you do a flat strike. Left with fire does a slice. Right does a top spin, which is the one I just did there to win that point, and back does a lob. That was a lob I did just then. Out. Right. The presentation's really quite nice. I actually don't mind it. Yes! It plays fairly well. It is a bit... Oh, damn it. It is a real pity that you can't actually play against another human being in this. That is a pretty big oversight, really, and I can't understand why they would make it that way. I mean, is it because I mean, did they do that because it would have been too hard for people on the far end of the pitch for services to be able to tell when to actually do their strike? I mean, it could have been that, but I don't. Damn it! She moves too slowly. No. I mean, it's even got nice touches where the dash. Whereas in that spectator's viewpoint for services, where the player who's not actually serving is doing what he or she would normally be doing, sort of doing that sort of weaving left and right, like you usually see see tennis players doing if you're watching them on television. I do like that face. It's so funny. Oh. Oh, I couldn't get to that because she moves too slowly. No, damn it. Right, match point. If my opponent wins this next round, I completely lose. Right. That's a whole match of passing shot done. So that's passing shot for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. A fairly enjoyable tennis game. So graphics, they look quite nice. I mean, I noticed some colour on the crowd when we were looking at spectators' viewpoint for services, and as you can see on that map screen, there's some pretty nice use of colour on the two players at the bottom of the screen. So graphics are quite nice, and the tennis players are pretty well animated. As I said, there are nice touches. Like it, even if whoever's not doing the service, you actually see them doing that usual sort of bobbing to the left and right that real tennis players do. So it's attentions to detail like that, which also helped to earn this game some brownie points, because those are like extra little touches that weren't strictly necessary but put in because some people actually genuinely care about making a product that isn't just the bare bones, and I commend them for doing that. and the animation of the players from overhead is pretty good, and the ball's nicely animated as well. And of course, there's the animated expressions on that crazy tennis ball between matches whenever someone's won a point or indeed the full game. Sound. I didn't mind the sound too much. I mean, I would have preferred it if it wasn't just sort of boing sounds. I mean, we're talking about 128K Spectrum. I can't help thinking that there are better sounds, sounds which are more akin to brief bursts of white noise that they could have used, which I think would have suited the game better by having kind of boing sounds. It's too reminiscent of early games like Pong, and this is a game that came out in 1989, so having that kind of sound for a tennis game does seem a bit dated, even for a game, even when the game first came out. Apart from that, there's the music on the title screen, which was quite nice. Not entirely sure about the music that plays during the game, but as you saw, you can actually switch between music on and music off by pressing 1 or 2 respectively. And now for gameplay. As I've said, although you saw me playing a singles match against the CPU, you can have a second player playing alongside you in a doubles match against the CPU. But unfortunately, you can't have player 1 versus player 2, and that is a bit of an oversight. I don't know why. As I said, I don't really know why they did that. I'm sure they could have found a way around the problem with the server who happened to be playing in the background during services, which might have found it more difficult than the person in the foreground due to the smaller scale of things, due to the perspective. If that was the case, I'm sure they could have come up with some way of being able to get around that little issue. Other than that, my only real gripe is that the players just move too slowly. I can't help feeling they could have done with being given a bit more of a speed boost. I mean, it wouldn't have to have been too much faster, but some returns that I feel would have been possible for a tennis player in real life were just impossible, simply because the woman I was controlling, she just couldn't move fast enough, and it is a shame because this is actually a pretty solid tennis game, which offered a unique way of presenting it, and some of the AI of the computer opponents seemed a bit off, and meant that the game against the computer wasn't quite as much fun as it could have been, which again is a bit of an impact, considering that I'm pretty sure they could, if they'd thought about it, have found a way of making it so that one player could play against another player. So I think I'm going to give Passing Shot for the Spectrum 7 out of 10. Nicely presented, but ultimately the inability to take on a friend is a bit of an oversight, as well as the slow speed of the actual players. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Hope to catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.